Hello, sports fans, and welcome once again to another edition of Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I'm your host for today, Mr. William D. Morgan. I have two of the finest gentlemen of sports podcasting with me. First off, let me bring in my man, the NFL genius, Mo. I'm sorry, Gene. I'm still waking up, you guys. Please forgive
The
me.
NFL genius, Mo. I'm like, Jesus
Mo.
Christ.
Yeah, Mo's the genius.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, guys? How you doing, you guys? I am still waking up. Please. I'm
Good
still
morning.
waking
Good
up. Please
morning, Will. Good morning.
What's
Good
up,
morning,
Mo?
chat. Hey, good
I'm
morning,
still waking
everybody.
up. I'm still waking up, y'all. Please forgive me. Please forgive
You
me.
good.
And plus, I'm a Mets fan too. We took a loss last night. Oh my God, 2-8 our last 10.
8 out of 9.
2-10 the last two out of the last 10. We're 2-8, 2-10, 2-8. So please forgive me. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started with some pro wrestling. There was some rumors last night because of the stuff going on in Saudi that Night of Champions would be moved from Saudi Arabia to London. As far as what I can find last night, I have yet to see that be confirmed. It still hasn't been moved to London as of yet. I know some of the talent is concerned about what's going on over there. Guys, do you think they should move that event over to London?
Yes.
I think he's moving back to the States, Getmo.
Yes. No, I'm with Gene. London is a quick answer, but the best answer is, with all this going on, keep it in the States, man. Keep it in the States. I understand and can appreciate fully why the talent is concerned. They should be concerned. This is putting their safety at risk. So, yes, it should not. It should be canceled and moved back to the States.
Gene?
They should move it back to the States. If I'm WWE, if I'm a millionaire that's on a talent on the WWE roster, you could not pay me anything to be flying in that area. No fly zones, issues going around, rockets going over my. Nah, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Yeah, me either. What's up, Key? How you doing this morning? Hope everything's going good for you. Guys, I also brought it up in our little wire chat. We got Queen in the Ring coming up. And to me, and with Queen in the Ring, I think the only answer to win this is my girl Jade. What y'all think? Y'all think she should be her overall favorite in Queen in the Ring?
It seems like they're giving her a big push to win Queen in the Ring, so I think that's what's going to happen. I'd be shocked, and every now and then they throw you a curveball, but it looks like that's the way it's going to play out.
I disagree. I think you're getting Asuka versus Io, and I think that's what they want. I think Asuka versus Io is that high fly-in, great matchup. I think they'll find a way to get Naomi involved and knock Jade out, which will continue that rivalry. And I think you're going to get Asuka versus Io. And those two are the best two in-ring performers, and they work great together. I think that's exactly what you're going to get. I think Jade's going to get the push. I think it'll eventually happen. I think the Jade, Naomi, Bianca will be the whole around the title. And I think it ends up with Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania next year for the title. But I think we're still a long way away from that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make sense to give you Jade versus Io. I don't, just to be real when I say this, I don't see a world in where Io can beat Jade. I don't. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make logical sense for someone that big and strong to lose to, as great as Io is, it just doesn't make logical sense to me. I think you're going to get a Naomi cash in. I think you'll get a Jade versus Naomi fight, or you'll get a Jade or a Bianca versus Naomi for the title, and then you'll get Jade winning Royal Rumble. Something like that will happen, but I think that's what you're eventually going to get.
I would say this. I actually disagree. I think Io could beat Jade. You could sell Io on beating Jade because she's just better than Jade. Jade is big and strong, but so is Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley, if you put Jade against Rhea Ripley, most people would assume Rhea Ripley would win that match. Io's beaten Rhea Ripley multiple times. If she can beat Rhea Ripley, she absolutely could beat Jade.
The only thing with me and Io, I'm concerned because she's only defended this title 4 times since she was in that triple threat. So that's my concern with Io. But again, I would Asuka and Io, hey, it's 2 different styles. You got strong style going up against a high flyer. We love to see it. Anybody got a favorite for King of the Ring?
That's Cody. It's Cody.
Yeah.
I mean, like you know the thing about the Jey Uso thing, and I love Jay, is that we always talk about how over he is, and I get it. The fans love him and stuff like that, but they love him the way you love like a teddy bear. Like they love him, but they don't mind Jay losing. You know what I mean? To certain people, they don't mind Jay losing. Like he's over, but he just lost two big matches in a row. Like Gunther
They
straight
did.
beat him, no shenanigans, straight beat him. Cody straight beat him, no shenanigans, straight beat him. Like there's levels to this, and I think Jay has had his moment, but I think he's gonna start kind of descending back to more mid card action because when they put him up against the top level guys, they don't put him over against them.
True. Right now, we're looking at Night of Champions. We got John Cena versus CM Punk. King of the Ring tournament finals would be Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. Queen of the Ring tournament final would be Asuka versus Jade Cargill. Street fight match. And I think this was kind of created to react to what Chris Strantlana and Willow Nightingale did over in AEW. You got Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. I can't stand Raquel Rodriguez. She's so stiff. The U.S. Championship match would be Jacobs Lot 2 versus Solo Sikoa. And we have Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. That's going to be interesting to me. That's going from a storyline perspective. That's going to be interesting to me because everything that's going on between Karrion and Sami Zayn. So I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. All right, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I feel like the Rhea Ripley Raquel match is kind of like, we need another match. So let's set the, you know what I mean? Like they have a slight history, but the history is Rhea mows through her like she's nothing. So, they have her throw Rhea through a table and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is they're going to get in the match and Rhea's going to destroy her. It's not going to be a great match.
Yeah, the reason that match got named, in my opinion, is because the Dominic Mysterio. I think Dominic Mysterio isn't hurt. I think Dominic Mysterio is not going overseas. He's like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's hurt. He's not going to fight. So I think that they added this to the I would do nothing would be I would not. If I was a WWE superstar, Cody Rhodes is insane that they're bringing Cody over there. John Cena, CM Punk, all those guys, Randy Orton, zero chance I'm going there.
Nope. Hit no. Anything can happen. Anything could definitely happen. All right, let's go over to the world of the National Basketball Association, the NBA. We got a crazy trade last night. And again, I said it the other day. It trips me out to see trades going on during the finals. We got two of them that went on during the finals. I thought that was like an unwritten rule that we didn't really talk about trades until the finals was over. But we got Jrue Holiday being traded for Anthony Simons to the Portland Trail Blazers. What are we thinking about that trade, guys?
Mo, start us off there.
Is Brad Stevens being what he is? He is the counter to Sam Presti. That's how good he is. He gets rid of Jrue Holiday, who's 35. You bring in Anthony Simons, who's in the last year of his deal, but he's extension eligible. He's 8 years younger, and he's a walking bucket. So, and here's the thing. If Anthony Simons doesn't work out for some reason in Boston, guess what? He can either flip him or he can out and out just let him go. Like he's gonna come off the books. Brad Stevens, and he got multiple second round picks. Like I would have thought, I'm trading the older, let's be honest, past his prime Jrue Holiday. I might have to attach something to move that. Somehow he got a younger natural scorer, and he got multiple second round picks out of that deal. Like I don't know what Portland's doing because it doesn't make sense to me at all. Drew's got $72 million guaranteed on that deal.
Yep.
And he's 30 and he's 35. Don't get me wrong. Do I think Jrue Holiday can still play and help a contender? Sure. They're not a contender. They got a bunch of young dudes that are unproven, and it's not like they're finna make some kind of leap to contend for anything. So when you go, well, he's gonna mentor their young players, I could get another coach that costs less than $72 million. Like that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Unless they plan on buying him out. It's a stupid move. I don't get it.
Yeah, but you're buying him out to trade Anthony Simons for what? Nothing. Then you get second
right.
Picks.
But they're trading Simons because they don't want to pay Simons, which I get. Simons is nice, but what Portland has learned, which was said a long time ago, is he's not a number one or number two option. He's not. and he certainly is not worth the max. So I get why Portland's getting rid of Simons, but why are you bringing in Drew with a guaranteed $72 million? Not just a guaranteed $72 million. He's got a player option, which I guarantee you he's taking that player option because this is the last big deal Drew Holiday's ever going to sign. So that's another $37 million on top of that. That doesn't make sense.
I agree.
Now, someone told me this morning, when people go to Portland, they go to have their careers just die. Man, but I do like this for Boston because you get off that money, and you give them a good chance to reset. So I do like the deal from that standpoint. Yeah, it works perfect for Boston. Gene, what you think about this deal? What are you feeling about it?
The only thing I'm trying to fully understand, what is Derek White's full contract?
That's a good point too.
Well, they gave him an extension, so he's got money.
So Derek White has still 2 years left in his contract, 4-year, $126 million extension. Got it. So essentially, they're basically promoting Derek White and Peyton Pritchard to play in that point guard role with them, and then they're getting themselves a bucket while Tatum's out for a year. And if it works out, awesome. And if it doesn't, they get out of it. And they get out of 35-year-old Drew Holiday's money. Yeah, Boston won this trade, clearly. I thought so when I seen it. I'm like, wow, they got a scorer for Drew Holiday who I would want to get rid of his contract. I think Drew Holiday had one of the most untradeable contracts, and they got a player back. Nothing against Drew. He's a good defensive guard, but it's a tough contract for a 35-year-old.
Yeah, that's tough to swallow for sure.
It is, especially if you're a 35-year-old. You're primarily more at this point in his career. He's more of a 3-and-D guy. He's not even a primary ball handler. Like, that is a lot of money on a contract for a guy who's on the other side of his prime.
Heck yeah! All right, I do want to go into a little bit of college football. I put this in our chat yesterday. For you guys who don't know, I'm a huge Florida State fan. And I know I'm just every Saturday, I just put myself through a ton of punishment. We were 2-10 last year in the ACC. But new quarterback Thomas Castellanos was talking some trash, saying they don't have Nick Saban to protect them this year. And don't get me wrong, I want to get you guys on this. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of trash talk, but I'm also a guy who says, hey, listen, if you have a team that can back it up, talk all the trash you want. But you 2-10 in the ACC. Need to be quiet. Gene, help me out on this.
I mean, I don't know what I can look. You can't talk like that if you won 2 games last year. And I don't care how good of a quarterback he is. You can be confident with your team. You ever heard the expression confidence is silent?
Yep.
Insecurities are loud. That's exactly what that reminds me of. Why are you so loud about this? You don't need to be loud about this. Put your head down, play football. You don't need to talk that smack to Alabama.
Of all teams,
by the way, you're right. They do not have Nick Saban anymore. They have Kalen DeBoer, and Kalen DeBoer took a Washington team to the NCAA championship.
Yep.
So let's not pretend the scrub came in to coach Alabama. Let's not pretend that they still don't have NIL. Let's not pretend that they still don't have 4- and 5-star kids littered throughout their program. That is not the bear I'd be poking.
Mo?
Yeah, I think Florida State's going to get murked opening day. They're going to get destroyed. And the dude is cocky, and he's talking about, well, I got held back because the previous year in 2023, I ran for 1,100 yards. Yeah, that sounds good. But you're getting ready to play Alabama, and you're running your mouth ahead of time about Alabama. You don't think they're going to be gunning for you? Like, I would not have gone that route. My guess is Alabama smokes them by like 4 or 5 touchdowns.
I just don't get it. I just don't. I get it. You're young, you're dumb, but I just don't understand why you would talk. Hey, what's up? What's up, Carmike? I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, but we shall see. We shall see. All right, let's move over. Let's move over to the world of the NFL. And I want to ask you guys a question. Gene, you look at the NFL extensively. Do you see any surprises coming up before the season starts? Any team that you may see that others might not see who will be there or be successful?
I mean, are you talking about like teams that you think were going to be better than what they are?
Yeah.
Okay, so I said this yesterday. I have the Chicago Bears a little bit better than most people have them. I think that they've done a great job this offseason. Put Caleb Williams in a situation with Ben Johnson and an offensive line, and we can see what he can really do. Look, I'll be very clear. He didn't have a great rookie year, but you gave him an offensive-minded coach that will schematically scheme people open. You gave him an offensive line to protect them. That's what you should be doing for young quarterbacks. Another team I want to look at is a surprise. I guess it's a surprise. Is the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody is counting them out because of how many people they lost this offseason. And I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. They got the best free agent this offseason, and his name is Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh will make defensive players with his scheme better. So, and then the last but not least, and I've gotten accused. I see my boy Dante in the chat talking about he was talking about Florida State, but I've gotten accused of being a Justin Herbert hater, and I'm not a Justin Herbert hater. I said for years, I said I need to see him with a good head coach. Brandon Staley isn't it. Going into this year, I could argue they have better tackles than the Eagles. That's insane. Control Alt Delete. I'm trademarking it. I said it coming out of college. Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, those tackles are right up there with Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. I think the Chargers win the AFC West this year. I'm screaming it to the mountaintop because I think that they're built the correct way. If there's stock in a football player, buy it now in Justin Herbert. I believe in, I told you yesterday, just like Joe Hendry, I believe in Jim Harbaugh.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
And yeah, they added Mekhi Becton to play interior for them, who is an absolute force in the run game. If you watch Mekhi Becton on the polls last year for the Philadelphia Eagles, that is scary to have that guy in the hole on any pull run. I'm not kidding with you. You try to be a 6'1", 195-pound safety, and you see that massive man coming through the hole. Oh
yeah. Mo, any teams you see who might overachieve this season?
I think I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. I think the Colts are going to be better than most people think they'll be in that division. I think if Danny Dimes gives you complementary quarterback play to what Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line can do, and there is talent on the outside as well, I think the Colts are going to be a surprise team in that division.
Danny Nichols, bro. Now, but listen, Danny Dimes is way, way better than what they had with Anthony Richardson last year. And people forget how good of an offensive mind Shane Steichen really is.
Yeah.
I think I think the Colts have a better offensive line. I think they have a better plethora of weapons with Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce. I think the Colts could potentially be a good football team this year. Now, Jory, don't get it twisted. I do think the Titans have a good season in that division also. I think that division is going to be ultra competitive. I think it's going to be great competitive.
Jerry said, really, Mo? Yeah, really. Look, I do think the Colts are going to be a surprise team. That doesn't mean that the Titans won't have a good season. You're right. I think it's going to be one of those divisions that could come down to the final couple of weeks of the season. And on the Niners thing, I'll say this: I agree everything Gene said.
This is wrong. I'm sorry. I gotta respond to that. Yeah.
I agree everything Gene said. The only pushback I would say is I'm not concerned so much about the defense. But if the offense isn't very good and the offense goes 3 and out, no matter how good your defense is, it'll eventually break. I just don't think the Niners offense is going to be very good this season.
See, I gotta address this because I think people in one world think that Daniel Jones wasn't bad. Daniel Jones was bad. And I've heard multiple people on different platforms talking about Daniel Jones just doesn't have a line, didn't have anybody to throw to. I don't want to hear that, Key. Watch his decision-making. His decision-making is so poor. He is a slow processor. That was legitimately his scouting report. He processes defense slow. I think he was bad. Now, do I think that with a so like I'll give you an example, right, Key, and I'll give you one that I am sure you can follow. The Philadelphia Eagles were stuck in a scenario to where they really Shane Steichen just needed to figure out a way to get Jalen Hurts involved in the offense, and he wasn't processing the football field well. And what they did was they ran RPOs and they ran that run pass option where he had the option to hand the ball off, run around the outside, or throw the slant. And all he had to do was look at one side of the football field, what Jalen Hurts was learning. Shane Steichen was the one that developed that offense. I think that he can cut the football field in half with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a fast quarterback. He has a running back that he can hand it to, a la Saquon Barkley, and he has a possession receiver in Michael Pittman. They can run that same scheme of defense, that same scheme of offense. You can run, you can take off, or you can throw to the slant, and it worked masterfully for Philadelphia in 2022. I'm telling you, that's not that plays to your quarterback having poor understanding of where to go with the football. Slow processing doesn't need to matter. All he needs to focus on is that linebacker. Is that linebacker coming up or is that linebacker dropping back? That's what Shane Steichen will build for the Colts.
What did he say? Hey, I'm finna steal a page from your book, Carmike. I'm finna steal it, and I might be get some heat. I might be getting a little bit heat for this, but Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We're not overdoing this. This is an over dramatization.
Yeah.
We're not doing
that.
I just think Sam how
Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes is over
all
Sam
day. All
Come
day.
come on now.
Oh,
Come
that
on.
he said how I do.
Look, I'm not saying Daniel Jones is going to be an MVP candidate, but I am saying with the offensive mind that he has working with him, with the talent surrounding him, he can manage the football. Like he has one job: don't turn the football over, and be able to threaten. Like when they had Anthony Richardson in, they're playing 8-9 men in the box. You know why? You weren't fearing Anthony Richardson dropping back and burning you. I'm saying Danny Jones can give you comparable quarterback play. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's killing him. Look, you'll see. I'm saying you'll see.
So Anthony Richardson.
I'm not killing him, but like I think that it's a mixture, right? I have Daniel Jones over Sam Howell, but I don't have him with Sam Darnold. I think the comp for him right now. I think the comp for him right now is what you're looking at with Kenny Pickett. What Kenny Pickett did is a good backup role, how he looked in Philadelphia, with a competent offensive coordinator and a competent team. I think that he's not a top 20 quarterback in football. So, like, don't get it twisted. He's a bottom third quarterback. Don't lie to yourself and think this guy's a top 20 quarterback. But he's not. He's serviceable. And I always said he was serviceable. And you can't be serviceable with no offensive line, no run game, no wide receivers.
Right.
You can't.
So what do you do with Anthony Richardson? He's due to come back from injury.
Cut him.
He had a
I'm telling you, he's not an NFL quarterback.
Or play him at H-back.
Yeah. He's due to come back from shoulder surgery, I think.
I think Anthony Richardson could be Taysom Hill if he didn't get hurt so often.
There it is. I was getting ready to say that. There it is.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. There you go. He could be.
Speaking of Taysom Hill, can I ask you a question, Will?
Sure.
Did Tyler Shaw sign? He's going to sign a fully guaranteed contract.
He wants a fully guaranteed contract because
if I'm the Saints, I call up Cleveland. I offer him a 5th-round draft pick for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett just worked the full system. It with Kellen Moore last year. He knows the system. He worked the whole year. I call up Kenny Pickett. I'm like, you're my starter this year.
I agree.
To be fair, I think the Saints might be completely tanking for Arch Manning.
They could be.
So,
but do we know that Arch Manning is going to be that guy, though? That's my only concern. Do we know?
I don't know. I think Arch Manning will be the guy, but I don't know. I'm just saying I think the Saints are the worst roster in football. Like if you gave me the odds of the Saints or the field, I would take the Saints as the worst record in football this year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Gene, real quick, when you say Arch Manning will be that guy, do you mean yes, he'll be the guy that they select if they get a chance, or he'll be that guy once they select him, he'll prove it? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think Arch Manning will prove it, and I think that he'll be the no doubt about it #1 quarterback.
Let me ask y'all this: what's a team you guys see taking a step back?
Mo, you want to go first? Or you want to go second on this one?
I think Detroit takes a big step back.
Yeah, I said that.
And I know I'm biting off of what you said yesterday, but I believe that to be true. I think they've lost so many coordinators. They lost their center, who is the head of your offensive line. That matters. He wasn't just a center; he was a Pro Bowler. He was that dude, and he's gone. I think they take a step back.
You stole this. We talked about this yesterday. He didn't steal. I'm just saying, me and him both see JJ McCarthy the same as super overrated. I think the Lions and the Vikings take a step back. I think I think that division completely flip-flops. I have the Bears, Packers as the top 2 teams in that division, and the Lions and Vikings in the cellar. I really do. I also forgot to mention the team I think that takes a step forward. Can I add that real quick, Will?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Jets take a huge step forward.
I like that.
Now, I could be wrong, and I know I've fallen into this trap before, but I believe in Justin Fields. And I think
I do too.
This is the first time he has been able to choose where he wants to play. He got drafted into a terrible situation. Chicago's greatest quarterback of all time is either Jay Cutler or Jim McMahon. Nobody is a good quarterback in Chicago ever. Then he goes over to Pittsburgh and they go, well, Russ is our starter, but you can go be the backup, but Russ is hurt. So you're going to play the first 6 games in a system that wasn't built for you anyway, with a guy that still plays Stone Age football and Arthur Smith as our offensive coordinator. This is the first time since Ohio State where Justin Fields is choosing where he can go. I love the situation and not to mention, he's thrown to his college buddy in Garrett Wilson. They've had many camps together. He has a chemistry and connection with them. I'm a Jets guy this year. Do not be surprised. I know everyone loves Buffalo. Do not be surprised if the Jets compete for that division.
I love that Fields is finally getting an opportunity somewhere where we can actually say it's his team. It's going to be an offense tailored around his skill set. But what I will say is this: I don't think there's a middle ground. I think he'll either be great and very good in New York, or he'll be bad. I don't think there'll be a middle ground.
If you play fantasy football, I'm drafting Justin Fields in every one of my leagues. He has that dual threat option. I think he's going to score the ball early and often, and I think their defense is going to play complementary football with them. I think they're going to play great defense with Aaron Glenn. I'm excited to see what the Jets do this year. I think that that guy that threw 6 touchdown passes versus Clemson in the NCAA conference semifinals is still in there. He's still there. You throw 6 touchdown passes versus Dabo Swinney's defense? Come on, man. You're going to tell me this guy can't throw the football? Most people that talk about Justin Fields have no idea his arm talent. They think he's a running quarterback. He was never a running quarterback until he went to the Bears, who have no offensive line whatsoever. He wasn't. If you watch him at Ohio State, he didn't run a lot. He ran for more yards in the pros than he did in college, and that's normally the opposite.
Can you imagine if the Saints do trade Chris Olave to the Jets?
I love that. I love that for the Jets. Add Olave and Wilson. If I'm the Jets, I'm on the phone with them right now doing that.
Boy. That'd be awesome for Justin. I believe in him too. I really, really do believe in him.
Let me give you one more team that's going to step back. Well, I'm sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
There's a lot of teams that can step back this year. We talked about it. The Lions and the Vikings and the NFC North will take a step back. I've said it myself. The Eagles are going to take a step back. Nothing against the Eagles. Their schedule is brutal. Yeah. And you're bringing in another new offensive coordinator. Don't lie to yourself, Eagles fans. They're going to take a step back. I think the Washington Commanders take a little bit of a step back. Sophomore slumps are real. Look at what happened with C.J. Stroud. Expectations are higher. Nothing against Jaden Daniels. It's just never get too high, never get too low. There's a lot of teams in football that could take a serious step back this year. and pay attention. Pay attention to some of those guys. I think the Chiefs take a huge step back also.
Oh wow. Really?
Oh yeah, 100%. I said that already. If I have the Chargers winning the division, Chase got really mad at me, but I said I think the Chiefs will be fighting for a playoff spot with the Broncos. I said the Olave thing months ago too, brother. I said that literally. I said that the week after they signed Justin Fields.
I mean, I would love to see him. I would love to see Olave get some draft picks. Go ahead and start continuing this rebuild for the Saints.
Well, you're not getting much for him. A guy, he's almost listen. This is going to come off as really rude, and I'm not trying to come off. He's a step away from being a paraplegic with the amount of concussions he's taken.
But he had what 2-3 already in his career. So
they sat him, and thank God they sat him for the rest of the year. But Chris Olave is a guy that is a route technician, and if you put him in a system where a quarterback is hanging him out to dry to get his head knocked off, if I'm Chris Olave, I don't want to play in that shit. That's terrible.
Yeah. I agree. Let's see what the Saints do. Maybe get a couple of second round, third round picks from us and continue that rebuild.
Second round picks. You would be lucky if they got 1 4th round pick for Chris Olave. I'm not trying to be rude when I say that. 1 4th round pick. I think he goes for a 5th.
All right, let's go ahead and move back to the world in the NBA. I want to talk to you dudes about the Kevin Durant trade. Did you guys like this trade?
I loved it.
Mo?
Yeah, bro. I'll stop.
No, I think it's a great trade for Houston. It provided them with what they needed. I said it before that they don't have a closer. But I don't think it's the kind of trade that a lot of people see it as. Like they feel like adding Kevin Durant, the Rockets are locked to go to the finals. I think they'll be really good in the regular season. But when they play better teams, they're going to send 2 defenders at Durant, and they're going to say, Torrey Eason, make a jump shot. Amen Thompson, make a jump shot. Van Vliet, make a jump shot. I don't think Houston's a title contender. I think they're going to make the playoffs. People are going to be excited about them. I don't think they make a deep playoff run.
Well, hold on, Mo. I'm going to push back on that. I love you, and I know you know more basketball than anybody that I've talked to. If they're not a title contender, who is? Oklahoma City and who?
Well, I'm glad you said it that way. That's the way I would frame it going into this season. Oklahoma City and everybody else. They're all on the same level. I'd put Houston on the same level as San Antonio, as anybody else. Like Durant's a big name and it's a big move. But this is not Kevin Durant from the Warriors. This is Kevin Durant coming off of 2 or 3 nothing years in Phoenix. I know the numbers look impressive, but the results are terrible. I don't think he's the same dude. I really don't. I think he needs the Rockets more as much as they need him. But I don't know that bends the needle in the postseason. I automatically know in the regular season it's going to look terrific. It will. And at some point, people might even go, they're a lock to win it all. Something crazy like that. I don't think they're going to play in the conference finals. I don't think they run that deep.
Okay, so I'm going to give you I'm going to spin something to you, Mo, because I think the number 2 title contender in the NBA right now, I think they're number 2. I think it's Oklahoma City and then them. So I'm going to ask you a question, right? Who has a better chance of winning a title? Houston or? Can we do that? Will, can you play with this?
Yep, we can play with it. Yeah.
Who has a better chance of winning the NBA Finals next year? Just next year. The Tatum-less Boston Celtics or the Houston Rockets?
That's kind of an easy one, but sure, I'll go Houston. But I don't think either one of them are going to win a title, but I'll go Houston.
That's fine. The Houston Rockets or the Los Angeles Lakers?
I don't know. I don't think they're any better than the Lakers. I don't.
So I'm asking you who has a better chance of winning a title this upcoming year?
Because I don't think
is knocked off the face of the earth, Mo. They're gone. They're dead. Something happened. The Oklahoma City plane got lost. They're not in the NBA anymore. Oklahoma City or LA.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, we just saw the move that Boston and Portland made. I don't think the Lakers roster is a finished product. So I can't tell you definitively what they would do because I don't think this is going to be the roster they go into the season with.
Oklahoma City or San Antonio.
I'm going to take San Antonio.
See, I don't agree with that. I don't.
I mean, not Oklahoma City. I thought you meant Houston or something.
Right.
I'm still taking San Antonio.
San Antonio is what I meant.
I'm still taking San Antonio. I don't think they're done either, but I like San Antonio's roster already overall.
All right, so that's Will. Where are you at on these teams?
My issue with Houston is I think Van Fleet's gonna get picked on a lot. And where's your don't get me wrong, you're gonna have a closer in Durant, but where's your reliable shooting at the 2-guard spot? Because more than likely you're gonna switch Kevin Durant back to his natural position of 3, more than likely. So just roster construction, I have questions. But Houston versus San Antonio, just based on the roster, I got to go with the Spurs. Just based on the roster.
Look at the Rockets roster, top to bottom. They have a lot of athletes. There's no denying that. They just added Durant. Who's their who's the other guy that can shoot? It isn't Van Fleet. Look at his shooting splits over the last 4 seasons. He's a bricklayer. It isn't him. Who's going to do it? Easton can't shoot. I love him in Thompson, but right now he can't shoot either. Who's going to make open shots when Durant gets doubled? Because he's going to get doubled.
I'm hoping the answer is either Reed Shepherd or Cam Whitmore. I think both those guys will play a bigger role and they can hit the open 3.
Gee, that's the key name right there. That name right there, not Shepherd. The key name Whitmore. You just named is Whitmore. If Cam Whitmore steps up, because talent-wise, Cam Whitmore is better than Jalen Green, talent-wise. But if he steps up, that opens up everything for Houston. I think Cam Whitmore is a walking bucket. He is the key. If he can take advantage of all the attention that KG is going to garner, he is the key. He is the key. If Cam Whitmore steps into that role, Houston's going to be a problem for anybody.
I just think that they have 3 guys in Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, Reed Shepherd that shoot over 35% from 3, which is not great. I'm not like pretending shooting 35% from 3 is incredible, but you add Kevin Durant to that, and I trust Ime Udoka more than I trust any coach in the NBA right now.
And you did choose Steven Adams.
I really love the Rockets, and I don't think they're done either. Like just what we talked about, you don't think San Antonio's done, and tomorrow you can get a deal that says Giannis is headed to San Antonio, and my thoughts might change. But I think that right now it's Oklahoma City is the overwhelming favorite to win the NBA Finals next year. And then the next bucket of teams are the Cavaliers, the Rockets, the Spurs. Like, I think that's your next bucket of teams. And I think the Rockets are right in there. And when people say title contenders, in my mind, it's the top 6 teams in basketball are title contenders. And it's a very tough world to convince me that Houston's not a top 6 team in basketball.
Like I said, I think they'll be better in the regular season than they will be in the postseason. If I'm just going off their current roster construction, you're right. The great thing about the NBA in the offseason is it becomes an arms race. And I don't think Houston's done. I don't think the Spurs done. The Celtics aren't done. The Celtics are basically trying to put together a team good enough to contend while their best player will be out for a whole season, and they might pull it off because Brad Stevens is that clever. I think a lot of teams are going to be vying for the same players. Look, I'm not doubting that Houston won't be very, very good, but you are putting a lot on the shoulders of a 37-year-old wing player. I don't know what he's going to look like at the end of the season at age 37 when he's playing against nothing but the best players, because he hasn't looked very good the last 3 years when we've seen him. So I don't know.
But I'm not putting anything on his shoulders, Mo. I'm saying that Ime Udoka is going to continue developing the young stars that they have, and Kevin Durant's going to be the guy that helps put them over the top in the postseason. The biggest problem for Houston this year, to me, is when they needed a bucket, they couldn't rely on anyone to get them a bucket. Kevin Durant is a bucket. Cam Whitmore can be a bucket. And I think that if those guys develop, I think if Whitmore develops another year under great coaching, which I believe in, if Sengun takes another step forward, under great coaching, what I believe in, I think Houston has the ability to compete. I'm not saying they're going to win the NBA Finals, but compete and be a title contender.
Who are we seeing doing their thing in the East? Is it the Cavs and everybody else, or do you guys see maybe somebody else stepping up?
I think the Cavs are going to be very good, but do I believe the Cavs are going to win it all? No, they're going to be very good like they were last year.
Yeah.
I think there's something. It's an intangible thing. I'm a big Donovan Mitchell fan. I am. But I'm a realist. I don't think he can be the guy to put you over the top. I think he needs to play with someone as good or better than he is. I don't think, for whatever reason, there's just something missing overall with the Cavs. They're going to always be very good. They're going to win 50-plus games, but they might lose in the first round. I don't have confidence in the Cavs. Like, we can say they're title contenders, but at the end of the day, do I think the Cavs are going to play in the finals? No, they're not going to play in the finals. I would argue that the move that the Magic made by adding Desmond Bane, along with those other young players that they have, I think Orlando just took a step forward where they're better than the Cavs now.
Oh, I'm with you, Mo. I think Orlando is a team to watch for in the East. Obviously, then Cleveland's one of those teams you have to look out for. But another team is, you got to forget the Knicks just played in the Eastern Conference Finals. You still have Brunson, you still have Bridges, you still have OG. I guess we still have Cat.
I was going to say your favorite player, Cat's still there.
I'm not a fan, but the point being is there's a lot of teams in the East that can take advantage of that next step forward. And I think that those teams can take that step up, and we'll kind of see where it all plays out. But I'm on the side of youth. I think Orlando takes a big step forward.
I agree. I think the Pistons do too.
Pistons another great one.
Heck yeah. And with the way we got these two teams in the finals, do you get that changes the way rosters get constructed? Because back in not too long ago, we had the big three, then the big two. Now we got one star and a bunch of good players to go around them. We also saw a little bit of a resurgence in the mid-range and defense. Do you think this finals changes the way we look at the NBA?
I think the league is like it's constantly evolving. What OKC did, what the Pacers did, two younger teams making the finals, that's different. It hasn't been done very often. But if you're talking about in terms of stars teaming up, I mean, you're going to have that from time to time. But the big three thing, the only way you see that to me now is if you draft those guys and organically develop a couple of them and then you add another one. But the idea of you getting the Bosh, Wade, LeBron thing again, I don't think that happens anytime soon.
Yep.
So I look at the NBA this year and I say this is exactly what the NBA that I want to fall in love with is. Like, I see team basketball, and I don't think it's a one-star thing. You look at Oklahoma City and you're like one star. You know the biggest problem in the NBA is not everybody has Sam Presti. Not everybody has a guy that can constantly develop and find these young stars. J-Dub, Chet, obviously the Dortcher Chamber, Cason Wallace. These are all guys. And then to be smart enough to bring a guy in like Alex Caruso to be like, they traded Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. And Alex Caruso was the glue that held this team together in multiple games. I'm
still mad about that trade.
Well, you can be mad about it all you want.
I'm still mad, but we didn't get no draft pick for that trade, man. Come on.
It wasn't going to help you guys win anymore. You guys weren't going any further.
Nah.
So I think that it's a really tough world when you have a GM that's playing chess where a lot of other GMs are playing checkers.
Yeah.
And he has a great, and I mean great, eye for talent. Sam Presti does. I like in football, the guy that I thought just had a natural gift for talent, Jimmy Johnson. I thought Jimmy Johnson was a good football coach, but he was a great in terms of like seeing talent. Jimmy Johnson was great at recognizing talent. Sam Presti's the same way. There's a lot of guys that nobody touts as high as Sam Presti, and he goes and gets them. And like Gene said, he's 5 steps ahead of everybody else. And OKC goes into this current draft tomorrow night with all kind of picks. Like, and now the rumor is I don't know if you guys have heard this, is that Ace Bailey, he wants to be drafted by the Thunder. And Sam Presti,
Wow.
and they said Sam Presti is trying to make moves to come up far enough to go get him and make that happen. That's crazy.
It
It's
really
insane.
is.
And if that's the whole plan all along for Ace Bailey was to tank all his workouts and not show up for interviews so he can get drafted by the Thunder, that's wild. Now, the crazy thing about the Thunder is they have 7 first-round picks the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have stockpiled first-round picks. And not just their picks. There's picks of like teams that are in the lottery. They have the 76ers top 4 protected next year.
Yep.
Like the 76ers could fall apart like they did this year, not make the playoffs and get the 5th pick. And that's Oklahoma City's.
Yep.
Like it's insanity.
That's just
what they
sick.
have. They have this everywhere. By the way, I'll make something very clear to you. If I was the Oklahoma City Thunder, I would say, here's 7 first-round picks. Give me Cooper Flag. Now, Dallas would probably say no, but there's only one team in NBA that could literally call you up and say, here's 7 first-round picks. Give me Cooper Flag.
I think I'd still say no, but I don't know. Nico might be able to be swayed.
He might be able to, for real.
You might. I mean, you are saying 7 number 1 picks.
Picks. Yeah.
The problem is when you do that, if Flag is who we think he is, those 7 picks will never add up to what he is.
Do we think with the way Sam Presti governs this team, do we think this might be the makings of a dynasty with OKC?
They're in a great. It's not guaranteed, but they're in a great position because
Yeah.
In the era where you're worried about the second apron, because of the way Presti runs things, look, they're going to lose Wiggins and Cason Wallace and some of those other guys at some point because you can't pay everybody. But because of the way he's always ahead of the game, he's trying to get Ace Bailey, who's going to be on a rookie deal. He's trying to bring in talent so you can keep that core together. You're going to keep J-Dub, Chet, and of course SGA together and have rotating pieces around that core. So do I think they can be a dynasty? Yeah, I think they can be. Is it a lock they're going to win 3 titles in the next 4 seasons? I don't know about that. Maybe they're going to be less like Golden State and more like San Antonio. Maybe they win 3 titles in 6 seasons. That's still special.
Yeah, it is. And I'm gonna finish up the show with this. And I'll sort of kind of paraphrase it here. LeBron James says ring culture shouldn't be a thing. Do we agree with him?
Oh, we talked about this. Yeah, good.
I'll do it a different way because I feel like it, like I told Gene the other day, and we've talked about this multiple times. There's a lot of ways you can come at this. So I'm going to come at it a new way. Why do we have top 10 all times? Why how can we take 10 players and definitively believe they're the 10 greatest players to ever do this? And when we recognize those top 10 players, what do they all have in common? Will, never mind the numbers and the accolades, they've all won 2 or more rings, right?
Yep.
How do we separate great player A from great player B? Great player. We don't just go, well, he averaged 27 points a game, 5 rebounds, and he averaged 26. We also talk about what they did in the postseason, who they played against in the postseason, how they fared, and did they win or not? When do we get to the point now where we're going to separate greatness from winning? That's weird to me. And I get what he was trying to do because LeBron's a really smart guy. So he's trying to make the correlation and go, well, look at it in the NFL. How, Dan, don't do that. That's a completely different thing, and it's a completely different sport. In the NBA, it is a team sport, but it is the one team sport that one player can dominate a series. That one player can literally separate between winning and losing. Dan Marino is one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks to ever throw a football, but everybody around him was not one of the greatest players at their position. It's just a fact. That's completely different. He's trying to separate being great or greatness from winning. And I don't understand how you even make that kind of leap. You can't say ring culture doesn't matter to you when your whole career was about chasing rings. You said it yourself. Your whole career was about chasing a particular player. I don't understand it.
I'll say this. You're a Mets fan.
Mhm.
Will, why did Carlos Beltran get paid the way he got paid?
Yeah, that's a good point. Winner.
He got paid because he had a magical postseason run
Mhm.
with
He
Houston. And
won.
the Mets paid him so much money because of that postseason run. Why did Randy Arozarena get paid? Because he had a magical postseason run. And in sports, when you have that postseason run, when you have that, I guess, that pedigree of what you've done in the postseason, it will overrate you a bit. But is it really overrating you because you're winning championships?
Right.
And everybody that steps onto a court, a field, whatever, their main goal in a team sport is to win a championship. It's not individual accolades. It's not how many assists can I get or how many home runs can I hit. It's to win a championship. And any winner that I've ever had that I've played with or played against or played for, it didn't matter what you did. You could be the 12th guy on the bench or you could be the leading scorer. You find a way to help contribute to your team so they can win. So I guess the nice way to put it for me is I think that ring culture will always be a thing, and LeBron shouldn't be the one that says shit like that.
I can't said it any better than that.
Can't add
Has
no
it
more
not-
to that.
and it's been around forever. Has it not
Yes.
been around? Like, Will, we forget that back in the day, Doc was the best player in the Sixers, took him to 2 finals, but
Yep.
came up
Yep.
short.
Yep.
And then the year that he won with Moses, he wasn't even the best player on that team.
No.
But he had gotten
wasn't.
that ring, and that ring kind of validated his great career, right? It
Yep.
mattered to him.
Yep.
If ring cultures doesn't matter, think about this. Look at all the great players who at the end of their careers weren't great players, but they still wanted to win a ring, so they were willing to take lesser roles on other teams to win a ring. Mitch Richmond was riding pine for the Kobe Shaq Lakers and got a ring.
Ooh, he was.
Gary
was.
Payton was a role player in that
Player.
Heat team when they
Mhm.
won a title. Like,
Mhm.
LeBron talks about ring culture like he doesn't know when it started. It was around before you came in the league, fam. And the
Facts.
fact that you took it to another level because you saw what Boston did when they brought together Ray Allen and KD or KG to Boston to go to Paul, and you couldn't beat them. What did you do?
Right.
You got with your boys.
Yep.
You say, "Yo, I
Yep.
want to win." You got with your boys.
Yep.
So don't act like you don't know about ring culture. You're the blueprint for ring culture.
I do agree. And last thing, this will be the last thing as we run short on time. Anything you're looking to see in the draft tomorrow night? Anything you want to see in the draft tomorrow night?
Look, as the fan of me, I'm greedy. So I want to see some draft night trades. I want to see some interesting big moves. And I think you will see a couple of draft night trades. Again, it's an arms race. And it really comes down to there's the teams that value picks, and then there's the teams that think they're a player away from winning it all who don't mind getting rid of picks.
Mhm.
So it'll be an interesting draft night. And if Sam Presti pulls off, I don't want to call it a miracle because I'm seeing him do this kind of stuff time and time again, that he can get an Ace Bailey, that's going to be insane.
Mo, am I wrong? Am I wrong, Mo, for being so high on Ace Bailey? Because I think he's going to be really good.
Well, he could be good. His talent's good. Go ahead, Mo. Yes, Mo. My bad.
I was only going to add that, yeah, he could be really good, but going to the Thunder, the expectations for him immediately, they won't be very high. They're not going to,
Yeah.
he's not going to break through that rotation, not right away.
Mm-mm.
I think
Go ahead,
Derek
Jim.
Queen is a guy you got to look for in this draft.
Mm.
He slid down draft boards, which I think is ridiculous. You're talking about a 6'9", 6'10" big man that can get rebound, that can shoot the mid-range, that's athletic and strong. He's projected at 15. He's the guy you should look for on your board. He's part of that Crab Five in Maryland. He's the one that hit the game winner for Maryland. You gotta look for him. He is going to be a star in the NBA. And if you're looking for a deep kid, a kid in the draft that's going to go a lot deeper in the draft that could really pan out, you got to remember there's a guy, Walter Clayton Jr.
Yes.
Remember who that is?
Yes.
He's projected to go 28th now on ESPN. I'm telling you, bro, look out for Walter Clayton Jr. You want to talk about this year's Peyton Pritchard? It's Walter Clayton Jr.
Might be him. Might be him. All right, let's go ahead and close things out. Gene, you got anything else you want to add before we get out of here for today?
Not really. I think that the NBA draft is going to be great tomorrow night. I think that we need to hear some news from the WWE about moving this event that's this Saturday.
Yes.
And then other than that, I'm ready for I guess this is like the sports off season right now. We just have baseball, the NBA draft, until football comes in a month from now. This is kind of like the sports off season.
Who's your college team, Gene, in football?
Penn State.
Okay. I didn't know.
I'm local, bro. I'm all local. Everything to me is local. I am Penn State football, Villanova basketball, and then Philadelphia everything.
Okay. How about you,
Temple, man? Because they're local. They're in the city. I'll root for Temple, but they're not really a program you could really. It's like Kent State.
Yeah. How about you, Mo? Who's your college football team, if any?
USC.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, you guys, we're coming close to the end of our time here at Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I want to say thank you to everybody out there who watched the show this morning. I do appreciate you guys coming through. Don't forget, you can find this show on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch page. And Mo, go ahead and take us out for the morning.
Hey, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, chat. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow with Gene and Mo. You guys have a good one.
Take care.